Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. It's Super King Adora here with, as you can guess to it, the story of JWE. It's something new that I'm going to be doing here on the channel. It's going to be split into less than 10 videos. We'll see. Well, I'm going to go over JWE, and today we're going to try to make sense of everything in what I could and what I can only say as in chronological order. So that means we start where the game says everything starts. And that's the Return to Jurassic Park DLC. Now going forward, the campaign of Jurassic World Evolution, if we can call it that, is a complicated one. One that is lost within the text and execution of the game. However, the format in which Frontier has chosen to present this story isn't an unfamiliar one to me. It's done in a similar fashion to FromSoft's Dark Souls series, in which the story is told both through the dialogue of the characters and from the text within the game. Now, it isn't done in a great detail as Dark Souls is done, but it kinda is there. So before I delve deep into this campaign, I first want to say that I've had my suspicions that this game was set in a different yet parallel universe to the movie canon. And yes, I know the game itself is not canon to the franchise, but this is something I wanted to do for a while, as the Return to Jurassic Park DLC confirms my suspicions of this parallel universe. So, here goes nothing. I was giving a thumbs up to, just so you know. Okay, so the DLC takes place after the first movie set in 1993. If somehow you're unfamiliar with the story of the first movie, which I don't know how, I'll give you a quick rundown. Multi-billionaire CEO goes and recruits people to endorse his park after certain mishaps with the workers to make it, viable to open. They get there, things are going hunky-dory. They're all by the side of the dinosaurs. They see a Brachiosaurus, they see a T-Rex. They do see a T-Rex, but they see a Brachiosaurus, they see a Triceratops. A money-hungry employee who doesn't feel like he's getting paid enough decides to sabotage the whole thing, and he shuts off the power of the fence so he can steal the dinosaur embryos for corporate espionage. Out comes the T-Rex from the power being out. It escapes. It attacks the guests. They escape. Raptors get out. Dilos eat the Dilophosaurus eats the fat guy because this is just desserts. This is a horrible movie rundown. They regroup as one of the party guests gets the power back on, which unfortunately the raptors get out before then, so they eat two of the people before then. And as they regroup, the raptors chase the kids through the kitchen into where the adults are, and they try to escape, but the raptors corner them, only for the T-Rex to kill the raptors, and they escape and never endorse the park. But here we are in this DLC, where here we are in this DLC in which the amount of time that passes is unspecified, but I'm going with either 6 months to a year even after the events of Jurassic Park, only because Dr. Malcolm says that the dinosaurs have had a run of the island for a while now. So I'm giving it anywhere from a few months to a year. Now it picks up with Millionaire Engine CEO John Hammond in his helicopter heading back to Isla Nublar with 4 of the people. 3 of the 4 are paleontologist Dr. Alan Grant, paleobotanist Dr. Ellie Sattler, and chaotician Dr. Ian Malcolm. From that rundown I attempted to give you, all three reluctant, but with their own personal reasons, have returned back to Jurassic Park. However, with them this time is a new face, one that we ourselves shall become acquainted with later down the timeline, Cabot Finch. The goal is quite obvious: retake control of the island and make Jurassic Park a success. Grant and company quickly start coordinating once they land. The work on the visitor center begins, and soon they spread to other facilities like the ranger station and the geothermal station. However, danger makes itself present as the velociraptors begin attacking the staff. Now remember, I said this is an alternate timeline. In this timeline, the raptors are never killed, basically. Because originally the T-Rex killed them before they in turn could kill Grant, Ellie, and the kids. However, like I was saying, in this timeline it seems Grant and the others, they were able to somehow evade the raptors and escape the island with Ian and Hammond. While casualties such as Nedry, Muldoon, Gennaro, and Ray Arnold remain the same. As Grant rounds up the raptors, Ellie and Malcolm work on the security aspect, fixing the electric fences and adding more bunkers for safety around the park. Now, once the raptors have all been squared away, the next thing that is to be done is to attend to the dinosaurs themselves, in which Dr. Sattler had managed to find some of the data left behind by Dr. Henry Wu, after Nedry had sabotaged the park by messing with the security systems and stealing the embryos, which at this point in time would have been destroyed at this point. I'd also like to point out that I don't believe Nedry took all the embryos of each dinosaur just enough to sell over the Biosin, as if he had done so, reasonable suspicion would have surfaced. This belief is further reinforced by Grant saying it's a miracle they have anything to work with after Nedry's sabotage. Still, they had a lot of paperwork and records and whatnot to sift through. Now, Ellie starts with photographing the dinosaurs, namely the Brachiosaurus and Parasaurolophus and Triceratops. This heeds Malcolm bringing up that the dinosaurs have begun breeding. Ellie proposes that they come up with a better preventative measure to counter the breeding, as the only fail-safe against the breeding was to have all the dinosaurs to be female, and we've seen how well that went. I'm sorry for my speech. I don't know what's going on with me today. It's just like every time I try to do these, I can't speak right. Anyway, after some time passes, Cabot informs them that the drug is ready to be tested on the dinosaurs, and Malcolm sends a ranger team to administer it to other dinosaurs on the island. It's here we encounter our first but main problem: sabotage. Once again, someone has infiltrated the park, intent on shutting it down before it can even start. The saboteur has hacked into the systems of Jurassic Park, and once more they have shut down the power and opened the gate to release all the animals. Now, Malcolm gets a team working on a hacker situation while Grant gets the power back on and the gate shut. Cabot and Ellie, they gathered all the staff and they route them towards safety. Now, once the sabotage is resolved, Malcolm Group comes up with some new software to counter any future attempts at hacking their systems. With that said, Hammond begins looking into the matter. However, that will not stop Hammond from getting the island up and running, as he gathers his four partners and tells them they are heading for Isla Sorna, the dinosaur factory floor. Now, the sabotage is, as you all could have guessed, as we're going to get to, Biosin. And in this universe, it seems that Biosin is more involved. Oop, girlfriend. Okay, sorry about that, but we're back at it. Now, Isla Sorna is where the dinosaurs are made before being shipped to Isla Nublar. It's a secret facility only known to those who either work for InGen or, better yet, those who work on the islands. The mission is still the same though. You gotta regain control of this facility here and get it up and running. Now, Ellie suggests that they use the breeding countermeasure on the dinosaurs there as well, and Grant agrees and suggests that they use them on a group of stegosaurs. The new method that Ellie is using is administering the drug in their food. It's a more humane way, as Ellie puts it. Unfortunately, the dinosaurs began reacting negatively to the drug. Clearly, they aren't the only ones performing experiments on the dinosaurs. Ellie has to tranquilize the dinosaurs and run tests on them. Those tests reveal that their genetics have been manipulated somehow. It's here we learn of Biosin's resurgence. or as Ellie puts it, that Biosin never left. It is implied that after the initial failure of Jurassic Park, Biosin had gone to Isla Sorna and begun conducting their own research. Now, evidently, the time Biosin had spent on the island was not enough to procure some embryos on their own, or maybe they have, and the first time around they botched it up. As Dr. Wu has stated in his DLC that he has done some business with them in the past, and this point in time made it difficult to reverse engineer his work, possibly at the behest of Hammond himself. This, in my opinion, would explain why Biosin is here and is operating the way they have so far, as they weren't ready or expected for Hammond to return as soon as he did. Now, Ellie's drug is revised and administered to the stegosaurs. Ellie suggests that they undo Biosin's meddling, and to do so they have to recompile their genome library and make new dinosaurs that can't be so easily tampered with genetically. Ellie begins to restock the genomes and new dinosaurs are being produced. It's during this time that Cabot disappears, leading Grant and Ellie to discuss his viability and inclusion in Hammond's venture. This would be the first of Cabot's timed disappearances, so to speak. With their work on Cerner complete and Cabot returning out of the blue, they head back to Nublar. Now eager to get the park up and running and having the dinosaurs from Sorna shipped over, Cabot suggests that they get the tours routed and running. Alan makes sure to reinforce to Cabot that none of the tourists endure what they had gone to the first time around. No shortcuts were to be taken. After taking the correct measures, they opened Jurassic Park to the public, to which Cabot was not around for, once again arousing suspicion from the esteemed doctors. It seems Cabot always had something more important to do when significant leaps had been made. He does return in time, however, to mention that with the success of the opening of the park, it's time to make more dinosaurs. This comes in the form of Compsognathus and Pteranodon. While this is being done, Malcolm takes the time to criticize Dr. Sattler, comparing her to Hammond, saying that the need to create more than what is needed is becoming more of a priority over anything else. To which he says that they are all proving Hammond right as they try to continue to make this place a success. This is furthermore proven when the T-Rex is introduced to the park. Now, it is around this time that when the T-Rex is introduced to the park, they run into some more trouble. And it is from the velociraptors that, when they first initially got to the park earlier, have broken out. Now, in doing so, they learn that the raptors have been tainted with, as well as when they try to sedate them this time around, the drugs don't work. The tranquilizers, they have no effect on the raptors. It figures that the Biosin forces that were here as well did some tampering to the raptors, that way amping them up, making them antsy or something. So it's here where the T-Rex once more is brought to the fray, to which Dr. Malcolm vehemently states that he hates this place, which is kind of a contradictory statement to when Hammond says that he hates Dr. Malcolm. Okay, so their plan is simple. Get the T-Rex to establish order back on the island by setting it loose to deal with the raptors. Now, this theory is stated by Dr. Sattler, because she said that the T-Rex has established order before. I'm guessing that that's how they survived their initial encounter with the raptors, is that the T-Rex established order by scaring the raptors off or chasing them off. This is how they escaped. That's my theory right there, my little mini theory right there. Now, after Dr. Grant lures the T-Rex towards the raptors, and the raptors kill the T-Rex kills the raptors. Of course, they put the raptors back. They do damage control and ensure no other dinosaurs have gotten into the main area of the visitor center. It is shortly here that things, continue as normal, as they continue making the park a success, and Jurassic Park becomes, I guess, the 8th wonder of the world. Now, I want to head into speculation territory, as This being the alternate timeline that it is, it changes things like the advent of the Lost World, and it kind of changes the third movie, Jurassic Park 3, as well. Because going to Isla Sorna, Dr. Malcolm states that he didn't know about this island, and he asked Dr. Grant and them that if they knew, and if he was being kept out of the loop. To which they state that no, they didn't know either. That they're just as out of the know as he is. Now, if Jurassic Park stayed a success during the advent of the Lost World, or during the setting and time and place that Lost World would have taken place in, which I believe it did, then the Lost World would not have happened. But let's just say that it did happen. If it did happen, what changes? First off, Dr. Malcolm's credibility, because originally in the original timeline his credibility was shot. It was ruined because of InGen's willingness to keep the dinosaur secret. In this timeline, everybody already knows about the dinosaur. So if Jurassic Park still failed due to similar circumstances as what happened in the first part that they couldn't just prevent, then Dr. Ian Malcolm's reputation, it wouldn't be tarnished at all. He'd still be the well-esteemed chaotician that he is. There's a good chance that the San Diego incident may or may not have taken place, as in the what everybody known about the dinosaurs. What really might have happened though is how what Clayton stated earlier, is we probably would have seen a different outlook on why they went to the island in the first place. And what I was trying to say about Clayton was, he stated in between what Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World, or during the events of Jurassic World, there was poaching going on, and I think that's what took place here, because someone like Roland Timbo, not saying Roland Timbo himself, but someone like Roland Timbo maybe would have tried to get a dinosaur trophy, a few raptor claws, a T-Rex mounted head or something like that. And with these expeditions being taken to the Lost World, Hammond would have had to put together a group of people that could have gone together. And that would have been, once again, Dr. Malcolm, that would have been Nick Van Owen, I believe Sarah Harding would have been a part of that. People that can maneuver in the field. And the reason I say Sarah Harding is because she works out in the field like that, studying wild predators. She mentioned that she studied it, like wild African predators and such. And her wanting to go would have Malcolm want to go. But then again, that's also assuming that they met under the same circumstances, because in the novel, they met after Ian got injured at Jurassic Park. It wasn't really stated how they met here in the film canon, but it's implied, I guess, that they met under the same circumstances because Malcolm was injured, so that's how they met. But that is what draws Malcolm into it, regardless. That Sarah gets drawn into it, because we're just gonna base off the fact that somehow Sarah and Malcolm still met. Now, the next person included on that would be Alan Grant, because obviously Hammond will reach out to the man that's spent his life digging up dinosaur bones. So he will go as to protect the dinosaurs, as they are basically an endangered species, and in being a endangered species, they are entitled to the right as modern endangered animals. Now, I can't say for sure if you would have Ludlow and them there because of how different this version of the Lost World will be playing out. Because, however, what I can say is that the plot point for certain characters and certain aspects of the film would remain the same. You would see dinosaurs being captured. You would see certain dinosaurs probably being killed. There would be sabotage. Like I said, that's what Nick Van Orn is there for, because that's what he was there for initially in the Lost World, to sabotage Ludlow's group. And he did that, so that's what he would be here for. And I think all in all, if you wouldn't get that third act of the T-Rex in San Diego, because everybody knows the dinosaurs existed, so that part needed to be included in the film. Well, in this timeline, that wouldn't be the case. That actually would have been stopped. Now, as for Jurassic Park 3, I say it would continue the same, because if Jurassic Park still failed, then the people that started the dinosaur parasailing company thing, they would have still did their thing to get to the islands, because it would have still been made a restricted place after the events of the Lost World. Because of the casualties and everything, that would have been made known. All the events from the prior film, that would have been made known and public knowledge. Basically making Grant, Malcolm and them as like the heroes and everything. So the islands would have definitely still been restricted to go to. They would still had those people doing a dinosaur thing, and the characters from that film would have still took the steps that they did that it put them back on that island. The only thing that would have been different is the fact that with Grant being on the island, now he is familiar with Sorna somewhat. As big as Sorna is, they wouldn't have covered that whole island in their second venture, basically. But with that being said, that is the DLC covered for the story of JWE. Now, in the next video, we will segue into the main campaign of Jurassic World Evolution, where we deal with what took place on Matanceros. Basically where you, the player, comes in, how that all factors in, like with Dr. Wu, Claire, Owen, how it all began there, basically. So if you like this video and you want to see another one of these pop up very soon, like, comment, and subscribe. If this video gets, I'll say 10 likes, if it gets 10 likes, then I know that you all want to see another video on this particular series soon, as you all have been scratching your head as to what the hell is going on with this game. And with that being said, Super King Adora signing out. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace, everybody.